All right, let's talk about something. What if that high paying, high status job you've been chasing, or maybe the one you even have, is actually a lie? Like a carefully constructed illusion. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what a good job really means. And we'll do that by looking at the huge difference between what you earn and what you actually get to keep. So, let's dive in. I mean, for so many of us, this is the script we're handed, right? From a super young age. Go to a good school, get the degree, land that impressive corporate job. It's sold to us as the finish line, the ultimate measure of success. And, it makes sense why we buy into it. It taps into that really deep need for validation from everyone around us. It feels like the end of the race for a good life. But here's the thing. What if that finish line is just a mirage? What if the prize we're all chasing isn't even real? That is the big question we're going to tackle right now. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we have to look way beyond the number on our paycheck. We need to perform what's called a forensic audit on our salary. Yeah, I know, it sounds intense, but think of it this way. We're going to treat our personal finances like a business, and we're trying to figure out if it's actually profitable. So, this audit, what it does is uncover three hidden taxes. And these things are secretly draining the value right out of that impressive salary. Now, I'm not talking about government taxes. Nope. These are, let's call them lifestyle taxes, and they're imposed by the job itself. First up, we have the convenience tax. This is all the money you spend simply because your job leaves you too exhausted or just completely out of time to do things yourself. I mean, think about it. Every DoorDash order, every time you hire a cleaning service, every Uber you take because you are just too drained to cook or clean or even hop on the bus, all of that, that is a direct cost of your job. Okay, next on the list is decompression spending. This one's a biggie. It's the money you spend just to cope with the stress of that demanding job. It's the expensive hobbies you pick up, the retail therapy sprees, the happy hour that turns into a huge bar tab. It's all the stuff you buy not just for fun, but to numb the pressure and anxiety from your work week. It's literally the cost of unwinding from a job that winds you up so tight. And finally, number three, shadow work. Now, this one isn't about money you spend. It's about time that gets stolen from you. It's all the unpaid labor your job demands. That hour-long commute each way? Yep, that's 2 hours of unpaid work a day. The time you spend in the morning getting ready to meet a specific mandatory dress code? That's unpaid work too. It's all this stuff that just completely dilutes your real hourly wage, and you probably don't even think about. So, what happens when we actually apply these hidden taxes to a real-world example? Let's run the numbers. We're going to look at a case study to see how these costs can paint a completely different picture of what looks like a great salary on the surface. All right, let's start with a really solid high status wage, $40 an hour. On paper, that's roughly $80,000 a year. And that sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It's the kind of number that checks all the boxes on that success script we were just talking about. Okay, it's time to run that forensic audit. So we're going to start with our stated wage, that 40 bucks. Then we'll subtract the money we're losing to the convenience tax and all that decompression spending. And then we're going to factor in all those unpaid shadow work hours. So when the dust settles, what are we actually left with? And wow, here's the result. After our audit, that impressive $40 an hour wage, it collapses all the way down to just $9 an hour. I mean, the sheer scale of that drop is what's so staggering. Those hidden costs and all that unpaid time have just eroded almost all of the value. Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. Your time, your most valuable asset, could be worth over 75% less than what you think you're being paid. The big takeaway here is that your gross salary, well, it's often a deeply, deeply misleading number. Okay, so seeing a drop that shocking makes one thing pretty clear. The old model is broken. So that begs the question, what's the alternative? Well, we need a totally new framework for how we think about our careers. It's all about shifting our focus from the revenue, that's our gross salary, to the profit, what we actually take home, in both money and, just as importantly, time. So you've got the old mindset, right? It's obsessed with gross revenue, that big, flashy salary number, and all the status that comes with it. The new mindset, though, it focuses on two concepts that are way more powerful: margin and efficiency. So let's break these down real quick. Margin is super simple. It's the percentage of your income you actually get to keep after all those job-related costs are paid. And efficiency? That's how much life you get back for every single hour you put in. Think about it. A job with a shorter commute, way less stress, more flexibility, that job might have a much higher efficiency score, even if the salary is a bit lower. These are the true measures of a good job, not the status. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. You know what your job pays you in dollars, but do you know what it costs you? Seriously, take a little time and run your own forensic audit. The answer? Well, it might just change everything.